Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2021 LifeTown Luncheon. And please welcome to the stage NBC4 Sports Director, Jared Smalley.
Hi. Where would you rather be than right here, right now, huh? Thank you for being here. It is a pleasure to be back. It's the second year I've been able to MC this event on behalf of LifeTown. A year ago, I was sitting in an empty, what essentially amounts to a storage room in the NBC4 studio, staring into a computer, not sure literally if anybody heard me or saw me. This is way better. How good does it feel to actually be with other human beings today? I forgot what people looked like. You look beautiful. We should do this more often. Thanks very much again for being here. I just want to go through a few opening comments here. First, I want to say a very special thank you to some Ohio senators who have joined us here today. Niraj Antani, Herschel Craig, Matt Dolan, Andy Myers with us. Thank you all for being here and appreciate your support of LifeTown. There's a couple obvious comments here at the front, clearly related to the pandemic and what we've been through over the last year plus. It affected the way that we conducted our everyday lives, obviously, but you can then extrapolate that to the effect on people with special needs, with cognitive disabilities. I'm a parent of two kids who are on the autism spectrum. We lived it firsthand in my house, and obviously all of you who have a connection to somebody with a physical or a cognitive disability, you understand the unique challenges that we've all dealt with over the past year. The theme for this year's luncheon is Be the Cure. LifeTown, a vaccine for isolation. It reflects LifeTown's mission of leaving no child forgotten. Now, scientists worked obviously around the clock developing the vaccine to try to end this pandemic that's been so awful all around the world. LifeTown charged ahead to be the cure for thousands of children with special needs in Central Ohio struggling with the loneliness to ease the burden of isolation that was obviously caused by the pandemic. From bringing the LifeTown experience to over 1,000 students' homes, surprising homebound children with special needs outside their front yards with a dance team performance alongside volunteers holding signs with really encouraging, loving messages. LifeTown worked tirelessly to ensure that every child in our community feels loved, needed, celebrated. Not even a pandemic stopped LifeTown's mission to make that a reality and defeating isolation in the community. It is my honor to join you today as we come together to be the cure by creating a future of inclusion and acceptance for children with special needs. You're doing that today, and we really appreciate your support doing it, and I genuinely applaud you for the work you've done. And we're gonna do a lot more work today, i.e. we're gonna make some money today. And I appreciate your patience with that. We'll go through that in the next few minutes. If you have an opportunity to help LifeTown today, we have made it uber convenient for you. You just get your phone out. It's a text situation. You all are texting somebody right now. So do me a favor, send a very important text. Text the word LifeTown to 44321. It is that simple, LifeTown, 44321. We do have volunteers here. If you need help, need assistance in figuring out the way to get that done, you can make a donation just as simple as you can there on your phone. Without further ado, let's get the program started, shall we? I have the pleasure of introducing Skip Weiler, Chairman of the Robert Weiler Company, Chairman of the Board of Directors for the Lori Schottenstein-Chabad Center. It houses LifeTown and the Friendship Circle. Skip is a well-respected businessman, of course, equally known for his humility and compassion. Please welcome Skip Weiler.
Thank you. Thanks, Jared. Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for fighting the fight to get in here. So I know maybe we can go to the Murphyville tournament afterwards, but well, I'm honored to serve as chairman of the Lori Schottenstein-Chabad Center Board. Each year, LifeTown and Friendship Circle outreach program help thousands of special needs kids build confidence and life skills and move toward a lifetime of independence. At LifeTown, we believe a zip code should not mandate a child's education. Our mission is to ensure that no child is left behind, no matter the distance it takes to reach them. It's not just about teaching, it's about empowering all kids with special needs with the knowledge that they are cared for and that they are needed and that they are valuable members of our community. This past year brought challenges that none of us could have ever imagined, but the very essence of LifeTown is taking on a challenge, addressing it, and turning it into an opportunity. Even more than ever before, we're grateful for the commitment and creativity of our staff, volunteers, boards, councils. I want to especially recognize the strong leadership of Don Garlikoff, Friendship Circle Chair, Brian Schottenstein, LifeTown Vice Chair, and Scott Scher, LifeTown Ambassador, and our past LifeTown Program Director. I also want to give a special mention to our incredible partners, Erica Clark-Jones, CEO of Adam H. of Franklin County, Dr. Talisa Dixon, Superintendent of the Columbus City Schools, and Jed Morrison, CEO, Superintendent at Franklin County Board of Development Disabilities. They're wonderful leaders in our community and ensure our kids have opportunity. Let's give them all a hand. So when the schools were closed and the kids were left at home, hope was born with LifeTown on the Go. LifeTown on the Go came about because one mother messaged the rabbi on Facebook and told him her son Kingston cried when he was robbed of his final field trip to LifeTown. The rabbi replied to her in less than a minute, "Don't worry, LifeTown would come to him." And I can hear him saying, "Don't worry, LifeTown will come to him." Right? We can all hear that. So within a couple of days, the team at LifeTown did what they do best. They took the challenge and they turned it into an opportunity by bringing the entire LifeTown experience to Kingston. They went right to his house. The whole LifeTown on the Go was launched on the front yard of a child's home in Linden, and it's reached homes of thousands of children in Ohio, ensuring that none of the children lost out on learning critical life skills, even during a pandemic. Today, we want you to all experience a little LifeTown on the Go. In front of each of you is a box similar to the ones received by thousands of students this past year. Please take out your box, similar to the ones they received, and you'll find a playing board and 9 game pieces. That's right, we're going to play LifeTown Trivia. And here's how we're going to play. I've got 9 questions somewhere. Oh, I can't believe I lost them already. Okay, here we go. I knew I'd find them. I've got 9 questions, and I'm going to ask you the questions, and you, every time you have a correct answer, put a marker down where the correct answer is. You have to do it quickly, because this answer is only going to be up on the screen for 5 seconds. So leave your piece on the board if you got it correct. Whoever gets all 9 right will be our winner today. And if everybody's ready, we're going to go right to our first question. Everybody got your board game out? Everybody ready? Dave, Dawn, thank you. All right. Okay, so the first question is, how many districts has LifeTown served in Ohio since opening in 2010? How many districts has LifeTown served since opening in 2010? The answer is 25. 25 school districts. So mark it down if you got it right. The next question is, how many miles were driven during the 2020 and 2021 school year through our LifeTown on the Go initiative due to COVID-19? How many miles? The answer is 32,562. How many animals live in Uncle Glenn's Animal Friends at LifeTown? How many animals live in the Animal Friends at LifeTown? The answer is 8. How many individual students visits did LifeTown have during the 2019-2020 school year? How many individual student visits? The answer is 6,049. How many active volunteers does LifeTown have? How many active volunteers? And they all deserve being thanked. There are 2,046. What is the student capacity of LifeTown on an average day? The answer is 75. How many corporate organizations are active volunteers of LifeTown? How many organizations volunteer at LifeTown? The answer is 305. 2 more. How many lessons do students complete during their years at LifeTown? How many lessons do the students complete? I think somebody knows. 40. How many, last one, how many storefronts does LifeTown have? 11. There's some volunteers. All right, well, that was fun. These boxes, which are really life skills lessons, are a small piece of what was in one of the 9,000 boxes delivered to Central Ohio kids this past summer. In LifeTown couldn't have created those boxes without all of your support. Which reminds me, today's a great day to continue that support. They do a great job, but they can't do it without your help. And so, as you heard earlier, if you can help by texting to LifeTown 44321 and make a donation. Any donation is great. Put as many zeros as you want, as long as they're at the end. So LifeTown on the Go was more about bringing the LifeTown lessons to our students in a fun and interactive way. It was about making sure the kids get vital skills they need on their journey towards independence. I can think of no one better to share more about the multitude of critical life skills LifeTown provides than our next speaker, who really does all the work but doesn't get quite as much credit. And that's Esther Kaltman. It's my honor. She's the founder and director of LifeTown and Friendship Circle. And here she is. Thank you.
Thank you, Skip. It happened almost 70 years ago today. My grandfather accompanied his mother, my great-grandmother, to receive her citizenship. She was nervous and excited for the moment, had studied hard, although with some struggle, as her age compounded the difficulty of absorbing the intricacies of a new language. At long last, as the clerk read the names of all those who had passed, every name was called out except that of my great-grandmother. She was bewildered and tearful. My grandfather approached the clerk and was told, no, that her literacy did not pass muster today. They were told to come back 3 days later. After a few tense days, they arrived back in court. My grandfather approached the judge and addressed the courtroom. Your Honor, as I stand here, I recall my own fateful journey in 1938 a train ride out of Nazi Germany. Even with a passport in hand, as a Jew, I was fearful that the Nazi soldiers would find a pretext to arrest me and forever abort my chances of freedom. That day, I wore my only suit adorned with my precious lapel pin of the American flag. A fellow passenger like me also spoke English, and we conversed during this harrowing journey as though to imagine ourselves as American travelers when, in reality, my heart was beating wildly under my lapel, just under the American flag, and beneath my dreams of freedom. I almost fainted from happiness the minute I left Nazi territory, gasping for the air of democracy. When I finally arrived on these shores, the flame of freedom blossomed, and the hope contained within the air of this country enveloped every fiber of my being. Your Honor, as I stand here Your Honor, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. This is my mother standing here today, a lonely, war-torn widow with the humble hope to be tired no more. With the sound of the judge's gavel, as the words "citizenship granted" rang out in the courtroom, amid tears of joy, my great-grandmother found belonging, a home, and a future. This piece of family history has seared upon my heart the commitment to all people, sometimes lonely, sometimes broken, and always looking for connection. Every day, when I arrive at LifeTown and open the doors for our precious students, my only hope is for each and every one of them to feel a sense of belonging, a hope for the future, and for isolation to be a forgotten memory. I thank all of you here today for bestowing a sense of community for our kids, giving each and every one of them a reason to feel loved, cared about, and embraced. Together, we will defeat isolation. Thank you, and God bless you.
Before the pandemic, LifeTown was a vibrant space for children and students of all ages to explore, to learn, to experience the excitement of making their decisions, making choices, planning their schedule, choosing on their own all the activities, and feeling accomplished by the work of their own hands.
My older son DJ started with Parsons Elementary, and he came to LifeTown. It was before COVID hit, and from what his teachers told me, he loved it. He loved coming here. He loved learning. He loved playing. He had a lot of fun.
It's so fun because you can do a lot. You can ride a bike. You can go shopping. You can do art. It's a world that's inside a small building.
My parents think that it's amazing because I work on my math skills. That's counting money and know how to spend and what I spend or what I don't need to spend.
When COVID-19 hit, we had to find a new way. And we said to ourselves, all these students are at home. What can we do to help?
Our kids, even before the epidemic began, were isolated. Kids with disabilities can't do things that typical children do. We want to level the playing field.
I was feeling overwhelmed because I want to see my friends, I want to see my teacher, I want to hang out with friends outside. But then COVID came and I'm like, I had to stay at home. I cannot go outside.
So we decided we had to go to them. And thus we created LifeTown on the go. We had a truck, we had all the LifeTown supplies, we created these little mini storefronts for the students, we unpacked on their front lawns, all the kids came out, and they went through the LifeTown from the comfort of their own front yards.
LifeTown is so meaningful because not only do we help the kids when they come to our facility with everyday life skills, but we were able to actually go to their home individually and make sure that they were still getting the same everyday skills they would get at LifeTown and keep them from being isolated.
Now, as we got into the second year of the pandemic, we had to do more. We went to as many homes as we could, but we needed to reach all of the students. So we came up with another idea where we were going to pack up LifeTown into individual activity boxes and deliver them, hand deliver them to every single student's home.
Every single student received a box. Our kids, our students took that box, opened it up, and with that, a world of possibilities opens for them.
The rabbi and his whole team stepped up and said, you know what, we're not just going to shut down and wait for the pandemic to end. We're going to reach out. We're going to go out to these kids' homes, the parents, families' homes, and we're going to bring the programs to them.
And then we had our teachers with the students during their times in the classroom, and then they were online and they were able to actually go through LifeTown through the interface that were created online.
The Zoom LifeTown, it already had all the stuff from LifeTown in the box, so I was used to it. And on the computer, I'm used to on the computer too.
He could see people at LifeTown that he knew, so he was super excited because he goes and just kept smiling like, I know that person and I can actually see him in a video. So it's really awesome.
To have LifeTown in Columbus is really a big deal because there's only 3 in the entire world, and what Rabbi Kaltman and his wife Esther has done and his whole family to bring this to Columbus really means a lot, not only to Central Ohio but the whole state.
Go there. You know, I've brought a lot of people there that have very large corporations and some athletes and some people that have become big benefactors. But the first thing I tell them is join me there and spend an hour of your time, and you will be fascinated, and you'll certainly want to be involved because the program is just amazing.
The Friendship Circle program, my kids have participated in that, and so I've got firsthand experience of that as well.
COVID-19 came, but COVID-19 cannot stop our kids in their journey towards independence. In our kids feeling that, hey, someone out there really cares about them.
Rabbi Kaltman and I were talking earlier this year, who would be the best person to be the keynote speaker of LifeTown. And the first person that came to mind was Jack Nicklaus. He's been so philanthropic, not only in Ohio, but throughout the entire country. And the fact that he's left the memorial tournament to come here today, to be here for LifeTown, shows how not only great of a person he is, but how much he cares about the kids at LifeTown.
I say everybody needs to come see the smile on the kid's face. There's no amount of money that can get that joy and that warm feeling you get. And so there's a lot of negative things in the world, but to see such a positive thing, it really just brings joy to your whole body, not just your heart, your whole body.
LifeTown is aptly named because it truly changes people's lives. When you're a special needs student or person, it's a different mindset, and when you go there and you see what is available and how you can experience the world, I think it's really important to continue that program. And again, what they do there will change people's lives.
Decent place, huh? They do amazing work. And I'm thrilled to be a parent of kids who have gone there and got to enjoy that experience. What a unique place, and we're lucky to have it. A couple things before we move to the program. The text your donation system is working. I have evidence of it. I'd like to thank Heather Sargent. Heather, where are you? Heather, get your hand. All right, Heather was the first person to text LifeTown to 44321. And I've said this forever, let Heather be an example of what's right with America. You can be next, 44321, you know what to do. Moving on with the program, we're obviously thrilled to have not only your support, but the support of so many in the corporate community here in the Central Ohio area who have done so much wonderful work. And needless to say, the next two gentlemen I'm going to talk about have done so much you don't even know about to help people, families, and help grow our opportunities for children with disabilities. Brian Schottenstein, our LifeTown Vice Chair, President of the Schottenstein Real Estate Group. Brian, also last year's LifeTown legend, I should mention. And Gary Schottenstein, Chairman of Schottenstein Real Estate Group. They join us now. And it is a pleasure to have both Gary and Brian with us again this year for a very special presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Jared. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Rabbi Kaltman asked me who we should invite to be the keynote speaker today for this event. And without even hesitating, I said Jack Nicklaus. Jack is an elite leader whom I've admired for everything he has done both on and off the golf course. He has given back so much to our community, city, state, country, and beyond, and we are honored to have him here today supporting LifeTown. What is a leader to me? It isn't someone who donates money or wins a bunch of awards. To me, a leader is someone who has passion for something they believe in and inspires other people to carry out that same vision. We are looking for people to volunteer and participate with passion at LifeTown. In my opinion, a big difference between being a manager of day-to-day activities and being a leader is a passion and effort you put forth. We all manage processes, people, properties, committees, and customers. While the results may vary, managing is getting through the day by planning and striving to control events and people in the best possible way. If one adds passion, whether it's creativity, empathy, motivation, or vision, it develops leadership. I am passionate about LifeTown, and nothing makes me happier than when I see people volunteering their time at this center. I am proud that we have impacted thousands of children throughout Ohio. The kids at LifeTown need us now more than ever, so they can become productive adults in their own right. I now call upon you to be a leader, not to be a manager, and you will be rewarded with a great deal of satisfaction. Thank you.
Good afternoon. This is a happy day of celebration. It's a wonderful honor and pleasure to be able to introduce Jack Nicklaus, who is a man truly needing no introduction anywhere, and one whom has as great a personal reputation as there is. I'm going to skip all of the golf championships, the American and international awards and honors, and as many other incomparable achievements, and just focus on 4 of the primary areas where Jack is also world class. Number 1 is as a family man. Jack has always made it the highest priority in being an integral part of the lives and activities and milestones of Barbara and the children and grandchildren as he was with his late parents, family, and friends. Second is actually his amazing legacy in golf, not just championships, but for over 60 years, how much he has been responsible for growing the game of golf. Jack's architecture and design of hundreds of courses in many countries, and he has traveled the world for goodwill events, exhibitions, outing as an ambassador of golf. Barbara is also considered by many as the First Lady of golf. Third, Jack has been the epitome of loyalty and dedication to Central Ohio, Southeast Florida, to the Ohio State University, and most certainly to our great country, the USA, for which he has represented numerous times. The final and perhaps most significant point which I want to make is to say thank you from all of us to Jack, Barbara, and the Nicholas family for the phenomenal accomplishments of the Nicholas Children's Healthcare Foundation, which is acclaimed as a national leader in philanthropy in the multitude of everything else it provides to our world. We really appreciate you joining us today. Please welcome Jack Nicholas.
Stay up here, just stay up. No, you just stand here to get an award, and then you go sit down over there.
Thanks, Gary. Here we are. We've got an award going here, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we
I'll
thought.
help you out with that part.
Okay, I'll let you do that.
This is the millions they're paying me to do this. This is my role right here. It's an important role here because we're here to present the LifeTown Legend Award to our LifeTown honoree this year. Mark Swebston joins us on stage. Mark is owner and CEO of Atlas Butler. Represents a family of 4 generations known for their commitment to their employees and their community. This year, Atlas Butler celebrates its 100th anniversary as a philanthropic family-owned company. In honor of the legacy of giving back, LifeTown is honoring Atlas Butler today. Thanks to Mark and Atlas Butler's advocacy, LifeTown will expand its programs, increase scholarships, and support mobile efforts. Congratulations to Mark. Rabbi, it's all yours.
Get something in there.
We get something in there. Congratulations.
I want to thank you, and it's interesting coming to an event like this because I guess as I age and seeing so many families that are involved in Columbus and have been for several generations, we're celebrating our 100th year of family ownership of the company, and my son Michael, who's here, is now president of the organization, and seeing that, and being able to support a great thing like LifeTown, and just seeing all the numbers that Skip put up here earlier and the things that come into that and is there. And it just thank you for everyone that supports it, and hopefully we keep going into the future and getting in there. I got to tell one real quick story that my mother would always tell me about Jack Nicholas. She was not a great golf fan or anything like that, but she always said, and this shows my age, what a nice young man he was and things like that, and how she would schedule her week so that she could go to the pharmacy to see his father and get to say, because he was such a nice man, and if his son was anything like that, what a great honor. So I just want to get into those things and see it.
Thank you.
Also want to thank Jack Nicholas for everything he's done for Columbus. You got something called the Blue Jackets here that came from a family from Columbus. You see this Muirfield, all this event and things like that, one of the greatest events in the world on an annual basis, and I want to be able to thank him for doing that, and then coming here and taking some time out from that event to come and help support LifeTown. We can't thank him anymore, so we want to thank him for what he's done. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Now for the fireside chat portion of the program. Obviously, I'm sitting next to Jack Nicholas. Holy cow.
Where's the fireside? Where's the fire?
We should have a fake. Look, honest to goodness, right there. See?
We have a fire. Oh, excuse me.
That's a real thing. Obviously, I don't have to read the bio for Jack Nicholas, but you're pretty comfortable understanding of his background in terms of the career development as a golfer, as a philanthropist, as a golf developer, golf course developer, all the things you've done in your career. Before we talk a little bit more about that, I want to make one more plea to you. Get your phone in your hand. Help us out. We're going to make a lot of money today. Text LifeTown 44321, and you can help us. I should mention that every dollar you donate specifically goes to build life lessons for a child with special needs. So I hope you consider that when you have your phone in your hand. Again, 44321. Jack, you've developed 300 golf courses all around the world.
Yeah, let's start off with LifeTown a little bit first.
Oh no, I'm reading the script, sir.
Oh, I know. I haven't read any script, but I just wanted to tell a little story about Barbara's and my involvement with kids. And it started 1966. Our daughter Nan had been choking on a choking, and we never knew what it was. We kept taking her to the doctor. By the time we got her to the doctor, she was okay. But then she started choking again. This doctor says, we need to get this young lady to a hospital. So 11 months old, we're down to Columbus Children's Hospital, now nationwide. And they went in and found a shadow in her lung, their windpipe. It turned out to be a blue crayon. And they went down with an adult bronchoscope. Why, I don't know. But they used an adult bronchoscope, broke up the crayon, went into her lungs, she went to pneumonia, 6 days in an oxygen tent. And Barbara and I were 26-year-old parents, and we sort of looked at that. We looked at each other, we said, if we're ever in a position to help others, and we certainly weren't at that time, we want it to be children. So from the day the memorial tournament started, we benefited Columbus Children's Hospital, now nationwide. We've started our own foundation about 16 years ago in South Florida, and that benefits, started out, we benefited the Miami Children's and a variety of other, Jupiter Medical Center, and now it's Nicholas Children's Hospital. We have Nicholas Children's Hospital in Miami and 20 outpatient clinics up and down the coast. We have the Nicholas Children's Healthcare Foundation of Canada. And the reason I'm going through that a little bit is it's all about kids. And that's what LifeTown's all about, kids. And so Barbara and I have always been, wherever we can be in a position to help others. You all are here today for one reason, to help those kids. 43321, is it?
44321.
44321, okay. But anyway, you understand what I'm talking about. There are no borders for kids. Kids from everywhere, kids with all kinds of problems, they need help. And thank you for being here and being part of that to help these kids.
Very well said.
Now you can go.
No, I'm going to set the script on fire. I really do think, though, I've been here for a long time now, and I've gotten to know a little bit more. My nieces and nephews have all been through the Nicholas wing of the Children's Hospital here. And I'm wondering, because there are so many opportunities specifically for kids, I just wonder why you had your own personal experience, but then when you reached out, it seems like you'd be the person that hears personal stories from everybody. Over the years, I'm sure you've heard thousands of personal stories that just further that mission and get you to understand a little bit more what you're doing. This one works.
Well, let's see, is that no. Whoop, yeah, I turned it off.
Nailed it.
You hear all kinds of thousands of stories, but
You got it.
until you actually see it happen firsthand, you don't really realize. And I'll get emotional here with this one story I tell, but I love the story. And it's these two little girls were twins born in Minneapolis, and Keegan and Riley. Riley was a perfectly normal little girl, and Keegan was born with a half a heart and one lung, and the heart was in backwards. Well, they told her take your little girl home, love her. She's not going to be around in a few weeks. Well, in a couple months, she was still around. And so they said, maybe we can do something with this. So they called Philadelphia, Boston, all the children's hospitals they could think of calling. Nobody would touch her. Hospitals don't want deaths on their records. And, I don't think that's what it's all about. And so we call one of our angel doctors in Miami, his name is Redmond Burke. He's cardiologist, cardiac surgeon. And so Raymond calls this family up in Minneapolis and says, you bring that little girl down here. Inoperable is not in my vocabulary. So they took Keegan down. He made a model of her heart. It was like about the size of a walnut. And he had all the things, and he couldn't go in the front because of where she was. He went in her back to get to her heart. 6 operations later, he turned around to the mother and says, you take this little girl home to grow up with her sister. Pretty neat. Now, we have seen, Barbara and I I've sort of fallen in love with this little girl. And we were in the Ryder Cup matches in Minneapolis. We went over to see him, saw him. Keegan was getting along great. We then see him in Miami about, I guess last summer. And maybe it was even longer than last summer because of the pandemic. But anyway, we had a healing garden, which Melania Crump came down and sort of opened for us. And Keegan and Riley were there, and they let butterflies off in this garden, and then we went downstairs to a reception for cardiac kids who have been operated and helped by the hospital. There are about 20 of them there, and they're running up to all these doctors and hugging them on the legs, and say, thanks for saving my life. I mean, tears just running down your face. And Barbara just got a picture the other day. Keegan just graduated from preschool. This is 5 years later. Little girl was sent home to die. I mean, you see these kind of stories, and I've got tons of them. Let me tell one more, which you don't mind me divorce. You don't want to talk about golf. We got golf across the street. What the devil was her name, Barbara? Victoria. I'm sorry. Thank you. Victoria was a little girl. She was about 10 or 11 years old, not with a serious heart problem, but she was in from Venezuela, and she got operated on Venezuela, and they totally screwed her up. I mean, and she was dying. Her mother knew she was dying, and she wanted to get her to the States, and she called us, and we helped get her to the States to our doctors. Well, anyway, they fixed Victoria, and Victoria was maybe 15 when she came and spoke at our gala. And was one of our fundraisers, obviously. And so Victoria's there, and Victoria's got this low-cut dress, right down to here, with this big purple scar from her neck all the way down here. And we sat there and looked at it and says, why would she do that? It was her badge of courage. It represented life to her. And Barbara said, I'll never look at a scar like that again, without saying, isn't that wonderful? So anyway, Victoria is now probably, 18, Barbara? 18 or 19. She lives in Orlando. She won't go anyplace else but back to Miami to see our doctors. So anyway, it's another sample of the stories And we see these little kids every year. And after we see them, we say, I use a phrase that it's far more important to see one of these kids than any 4-foot putt I ever made. So anyway, I digressed enough. I'm sorry, Jared.
No, that was way better than what I was going to ask you. I do have one question for you that I think is important. If all of you who have kids, young kids especially, and you want to get them into a sport, you obviously chose golf. You played other sports growing up, but you ultimately, I think you chose wisely. It worked out for you.
Okay.
But I want to ask you about the basics of golf. What are the natural things that golf teaches a young person that you think can benefit them? And also they teach adults as well, but benefits that come from playing golf that you think can benefit you for your entire life?
Well, I think First Tee does a fantastic job with young kids. I don't know how many of you know much about First Tee and support First Tee, but First Tee takes kids and they try to teach them basic life skills such as sportsmanship, perseverance, patience. There's 9 of them. I can't remember all 9 of them, but anyway, they're all good values to have as a kid, which helps that child to grow. Not through playing golf, but through the game of golf. It teaches them that they use the vehicle of golf to teach them life skills. And we see so many kids. We had there 2 kids, Rashid and Kalisha, were at. I spoke for a congressional breakfast, and I had about 20 congressmen and about 20 senators there. We're raising money obviously for First Tee, and Kalisha got up, and she's a gal from Jacksonville, and she was a young kid. She was parents. You could imagine where their parents might have been. They're in jail or something. But First Tee had got her into golf. She ended up going to college on a golf scholarship. She was valedictorian of her class. She's now a doctor and doing very well in life. Rashid, on the other hand, was a young man, I believe from Oklahoma City. Yeah. And Rashid has become a lawyer. We saw Rashid not very long ago when I was getting the Congressional Gold Medal. He was Harry Reid's assistant. And I'm sitting there and said, these 2 kids that I heard speak, who were fantastic, both valedictorians, both golf scholarships, through the game of golf, they got that education. And, and you're talking about, and I can't remember what your question was. I have no clue what your question was, but what was it?
Character development.
Character. That's what it's all about. And so, you're trying to develop character. I think golf does that. Golf kids growing up in golf are really forced by what theirs is to grow up around adults. And when you grow up around adults, you learn to behave yourself. You learn etiquette and manners and so forth and so on. And you don't learn that, running about around the ballpark. But it's a part of your life and education to grow up. And so we think golf just does a great job of that. And they use, as I say, that's why they use that in First Tee, and it's worked out very well. I think First Serve, I don't know, that's not as prevalent as First Tee, but they do much the same thing. And it's learning life skills, and golf does a great job of it.
Sure does. Jack Nicklaus, everyone. Now, I'm gonna make the argument here that Jack is serving in a co-starring role today, because we're very lucky to have our next speaker here, the man at the podium. Rabbi Aryeh Kaltman is absolutely passionate about working with and working for the benefit of children throughout Central Ohio. Every day, love and kindness, they shine through his energy. His energy is boundless. This man does not need a microphone. He's a passionate powerful figure when it comes to this movement, and we're just absolutely thrilled to once again be here to support LifeTown. Rabbi Aryeh Kalman, thank you very much for your work. We appreciate it sincerely.
Thank you. You know, my friends, to have the great, the legend, Jack Nicklaus here today in the middle of the memorial tournament is like asking a chief rabbi to leave the synagogue on the Yom Kippur day. I am so humbled to be with the great Jack Nicklaus, with all of you, because all of you are champions, all of you care about our precious, wonderful children. It says the world stands on three things: on Torah, on study, on prayer, and also on acts of kindness. And our LifeTown stands on three things. We stand on our children, on our volunteers, and our donors. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. The three pillars that hold our organization strong, the three pillars, Adam H., Columbus City Schools, and DD. Thank you very, very much. Every day we hear about getting back to normal or return to normal. My dear, dear friends, there is no going backwards. Everything in the world has simply changed. The world we knew will never revert back to the way it was, and that doesn't have to be for the negative. It's for the positive. You see, standing here today, I see a brand new world. I see a more inclusive world. Children who have never been able to receive the education they deserve, their birthright, and now being recognized by our community as full and valued members of society. I see a more loving world, a world that is ready to fulfill the hopes and the dreams of every single child. A year ago, we were hoping, against all odds, that there would be a vaccine to finally bring healing to the world. Indeed, we are now sitting here together because that has become a reality. And today, we have come together to defeat isolation because we know that indeed there can be a cure for isolation. We, each and every one of us today in this room, we are the living proof that every single child has an inherent worth and value. The vaccine for isolation doesn't just come in a syringe. It comes from within each and every one of us. We are the cure. And it takes all of us just to embrace another, to do another good deed, to include other people. Thank you. Thank you for saying yes to LifeTown. Thank you for saying yes to our children. We deeply appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. One last thing before we wrap up our program here. Look, man, just help me out. Just put a phone in your hand right now. Help me. This is how we're going to make money. It's how we're going to further the cause for LifeTown. Jack, can you remind everybody? Can you remind everybody of the phone number, the phone to text? What buttons are we pushing? 44321. It's easy to learn. LifeTown, 44321. Help us today. Jack, thank you so much for joining us here today, and thank you for making the time in an extraordinarily busy week to help us move this mission forward. For all of us who have direct involvement in it, it just couldn't be more thrilled to have you.
Well, thanks, Jared. I don't know how many of you are going across the street after you get done. I hope some of you are. Yeah, I think you'll find that they'll be over there playing all day.
All night.
And maybe all night, that's right. That's about the only thing we didn't do on the golf course was put lights. And if we're going to have any more days like yesterday, maybe we should have put lights. But anyway, the golf course is good. It'll be plenty dry to walk around. Cart paths basically are your path to walk around the golf course, and it's basically a new golf course that I did over the last year. My son Jack and I, we think a lot of good things. The pros like it. I think they're going to probably shoot pretty good scores this year because the weather is relatively benign. I mean, yesterday, even though we had rain, there wasn't any wind with it. And of course, there's no wind today. And tomorrow's supposed to be, and Sunday's supposed to be beautiful. So we hope you have an opportunity to come across and see us. And if you don't, see it on television. Or if you don't want to do that, you can do LifeTown 44321. Okay?
Yes!
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. Appreciate your support.